Hello and welcome to EBAday 2020. I'm Hannah Wallace, and kindly calling into our virtual studio now is Harry Newman, Head of Payment Strategy for Swift. So welcome, Harry. Thank you very much for joining us again.
Thank you, Hannah.
So the first thing I want to talk about is a recent announcement made by Swift about a bold new strategy that involves moving from messaging towards a transaction management model. So let's start there. Can you tell us what influenced this decision and how you validated your direction of travel? Let's start there.
Sure. So we start really with the story of GPI and what's happened within the community over the last few years with international payments. And in doing that, what we found is the sheer value in connecting together, rather than dealing with those individual messages that pass from one institution to another, putting them together into an end-to-end chain. And it's been a huge benefit to the community in terms of being able to track and see what happens end-to-end. So, for example, payments we know arrive now internationally, typically within a day. Less than 4 or 5% take longer than a day to hit the beneficiary. And we know that because we're taking that end-to-end transaction approach. Now, that experience leads into a strategy review at the end of last year, the beginning of this year, where we looked at actually how's the market changing, the sheer disruption and digitization that's going on. And out of that came this conclusion that we need to move to transaction management for all our transactions, securities, payments, end to end. And we took that conclusion to our community and we validated it with the major players and with working groups and across the whole community really, and with our board. And with that has resulted in our new strategy, which is to say, right, let's take a transaction management approach and now let's roll that out to the community.
All right, so having set the scene then, can you tell us exactly what the strategy entails? Can you tell us a bit about the challenges it addresses and how will it benefit financial institutions and their end customers? What about that?
I was going to say in a nutshell, but it might well not be a nutshell. What our strategy entails is building a new platform. And on that platform, what we will do is allow our financial institution clients to load their payments. And those payments will then be pre-validated, they'll be pre-processed, and around them we'll be assembling a group of mutualized services, whether that is to do with financial crime compliance or reference data or business intelligence, in order to make sure that as it passes through the whole chain, that payment is as likely as it can be to arrive easily, freely, and instantly. So our goal is instant and frictionless transactions internationally. And on top of that, this platform will enable users to connect through, whether it be messaging or APIs. They will have that choice. They will be able to migrate to it at their own speed. And it's based around the whole concept of having rich data, because rich data is absolutely essential for better compliance. And it's absolutely essential to extend how payments are used and the services that institutions can offer to their clients. So end users, and that's what really matters at the end of the day, end users will get faster payments, they'll get frictionless payments, and they'll be able to get access to much more information about a payment, what has happened to it. And through these API linkages, we'll also be able to provide links between our platform and other platforms and partner providers, enriching the whole ecosystem so that ultimately financial institutions can offer a far better service to their clients.
All right, so where does ISO 20022 migration fit into this picture, and how are you factoring in other migration timelines and regional initiatives, especially here in Europe?
Well, ISO 20022 is the path to rich data. We need that rich data, as I've highlighted. And for ISO, this we believe is a far better way of migrating to ISO. The platform allows people it acts as a buffer between institutions. So institutions, and this is talking for internationally, they can migrate at a speed that suits them because the platform will allow for the rich data to be held and maintained throughout the chain. If one institution hasn't yet quite migrated, that data is still available to the others in the chain. So it's a far better way of migrating to ISO for international payments. Now, so we will be promoting that and busy building that out to enable our clients to migrate to ISO according to the international timelines. When it comes to the domestic timelines, we will have plans, and we've built those out, for example, in the case of Europe, to enable those areas and those domestic MIs to migrate to ISO at their speed. it's their timeline, it's their migration. So we will facilitate their migration, and whether that's by the use of our platform services or messaging services, whatever is the part of the plan to enable them to achieve their migration.
Brilliant. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this space develops, and you've certainly painted the picture for us there. But for now, Harry, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for calling in and sharing your insights, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you, Hannah.